The military operations alone might be creating more support for Al-Qaeda by pushing Afghans who do not fight because they love Al-Qaeda or Taliban Mullah Omar, because they are unhappy and they have unresolved issues and they feel that they are unjustly excluded from the political scene. Security, development, all these need to happen together in parallel, but without a political dimension, the war efforts are addressed, targeted towards many ordinary Afghans who are not terrorists plus terrorists. So you fight basically with communities, and that war cannot be won. So there are the two political military groups that are fighting against the government, are Taliban and Hekmatyar's group, and there are a lot of supporters of them who existed before Al-Qaeda emerged as a terrorist organization, and they were fighting in the civil war against the Northern Alliance. So there was a civil war before war on terror takes its shape. And there are a lot of Taliban Hekmatyar supporters that you can access and reach and talk to, and you need to find out what the issues are, and that requires a series of dialogues and negotiations, also bringing in the regional power. Exactly, there has been contacts, but not in a systematic way. I am aware of that the Afghan government put a team together a few months ago to talk to some elements of the Taliban, but on the lead of that team was a former enemy of Taliban, someone from a supporting Northern Alliance. So access to those who fight is not only possible, but it's not too difficult, because their sympathizers and supporters are in Kabul. They cannot speak publicly, because without having a peace track where issues can be negotiated openly, there is fear that you talk about negotiations, you are suddenly labeled as pro-Taliban, as Jack Layton was in Canada. In the beginning, it should be secret, slow-balling approach on finding, but there are a lot of channels that the Afghan government knows, and that the Afghans themselves will guide you to the parliament. In the parliament we have individuals who have access, and around the government we do have. What we need to have is the willingness and the attitude on the political level from the international community to explore the options and find out what the ways are. But there are ways. That was not a genuine and sincere reconciliation. It was like, come and surrender, join us, put your arms down. The approach that we have so far, unfortunately, which is failing, is also like that. Oh, come and surrender and drop your arms and come and have a peaceful life. I think there are deeper issues that need more and more negotiations, and it needs a team of professionals who really spend and take their time to find out what the issues are and what the win-win solutions are. There isn't much capacity in a country like Afghanistan of peace negotiations and peace building. There are tribal and traditional ways of doing it, but I think we need more international support in such a process, to bring also the regional countries, Pakistan, India, Iran, because they have vested interest in many legitimate concerns, all of them. So that kind of a multi-level dialogue with Afghans for reconciliation, and also to address the regional concerns. On both sides of the civil war, there are worries. The former Northern Alliance have worries. What if Taliban comes and Pashtun dominance starts again? There are 250 years of grievance and pain of oppression of non-Pashtun by the Pashtun dynasty. The same are with Pashtuns, that they are excluded, their warlords and their criminals are labeled as terrorists, while the other side's warlord and criminals are in the government. Then there are some unresolved national issues, like the issue of language, in addition to participation in political structure, the issue of the structure of the government, which all can be explored one by one and discussed with different levels of the society, not only with the warring factions, but with intellectuals and with the public, with the community of all of this. It could be a combination. United Nations is one venue for it. We have different examples in the world. But you have to look at it on a national level. This is a national issue. On local level, it would be a temporary compromise or some kind of deal made. You have to have systematic negotiations, professionally helped and technically supported, so you identify what the issues are that can be resolved and accommodated without compromising the values of democratization in what Afghanistan has achieved so far. No, there is, once you need international supporters of Afghanistan to start, the Afghan government will definitely be able to take part in it. But because of the tension between the two sides of the civil war, there are a lot of Afghans in the government who are afraid of Taliban coming and integrated to the system, and their fears are valid. So you need to first have dialogues to integrate some non-terrorists into the government, and secondly to reconcile between the two sides of the civil war, because they have legitimate and valid fears from each other.